Me here, giving me the opportunity this time, and also in August as an external reviewer. I was very delighted to be involved in the process. It enriched my life, the way I think, and the way I think for future innovations and how to help people in need, in vulnerable situations, and in conflict areas, and especially my community called the Rohingyas. So if you see me, I have a coat on, I'm well dressed, I am on heels, I can speak English. But this is not the reality when it comes to the Rohingya, my community, which I belong. My community is considered the most persecuted per UN definition, and it is, and they are living in the most concentrated camps in Bangladesh, and they are the most trafficked people on earth. So what else can happen? What else can go wrong to a human being when they have the worst in them? When they face the worst conditions? Which are preventable. So Rohingyas are the ethnic, just to briefly describe who are the Rohingyas, they are the ethnic Muslim minority in Burma. We can trace our ancestral roots to 800 AD, unfortunately because of our religion and of our ethnicity. Because who we are, the Rohingya, we are being persecuted mainly by the Burmese military, and unfortunately now the civilian government is silent and the public is also taking side. The persecution did not happen overnight. The genocide of the Rohingya did not happen overnight. It happened, it started since the military came in power. And over years there has been several operations against the Rohingya community which led to mass exodus of Rohingya in 1978, in 1991, 92, in 2012, in 2015, 16, and unfortunately 17. In 2017, we have seen more in a very short time frame a mass exodus of Rohingya fleeing for their lives, leaving their old parents and children. Nobody knew who were in which direction fleeing, but they all wanted is to save their lives. And now, unfortunately, more than 1.1 million Rohingya refugees are living in concentrated camps in Bangladesh. Out of these people, 80% are women and children, and 65% are children who have lost their parents. There are many women who are victims of gang rapes. Now they have given birth to children out of rape, which has resulted in Myanmar. It was like, for the Bangladesh government, we are very thankful. It was like, next day, suddenly you open your door and then 500,000 Rohingya refugees are standing in front of you. This is a man-made humanitarian disaster, which was preventable. So the aid agencies, the UN, UNHCR, refugee relief, and the government of Bangladesh, they were not prepared for such a man-made humanitarian disaster. So slowly people started showing their sympathy, and there was help. But this help was, they have provided the help to the central area of the camps. But as a Rohingya, I must say, there are still thousands of people in Bangladesh, in the periphery, where they don't have a normal meal, where they don't have proper sanitation, where the women cannot go to the toilet at night because there's no security, there are no lights, and children, they are without any future, without any education. Medical assistance, they don't see any medical assistance. MSF feels hospitals from Malaysia, from Dubai. There are few assistance medically, but they cannot provide 1.1 million Rohingya with this medical assistance. There's a huge gap. These people don't have any electricity at night. They fear from human traffickers, from wild animals being hitting their huts. Many people die. This is the reality what we are seeing, and as a Rohingya medic, I have been actively dealing with medical cases, not only from 2017. I have been involved since 2012 inside Burma with other Rohingya medics, treating the Rohingya community who do not have access to the medical facilities inside Burma because they are made forcefully stateless. And also, MSF was the only organization which were providing medical assistance to our community. And in 2012, because they said they treated 65 or 45, I don't exactly remember the number, the government of Myanmar or Burma has restricted their activities. 2014, they were partly able to resume their activities, but recently they have lost their license to do any activity, medical activity inside Arakan. This is where we Rohingya play our role. We try to empower whoever is left, who, for example, physician assistant, training them, empowering them how to treat patients. We assist them. Like, I am a big believer in telemedicine through my experience here. Telemedicine did work, and it is working, and this is how we are trying to save lives. So why am I talking all about this? There's for example, my community is under threat, and there are 350,000 Rohingya still remaining in Rakhine State who face forced starvation. The whole area is completely locked down. No international media can get in. There's no information coming in and out. It is only us, our people from grassroots level, who are filming themselves and sending the message and crying out for SOS sign. Also, the humanitarian assistance inside Arakan is not reaching out to our people. As Chris said, there is a problem in the delivery side. So we are facing, even if people are willing to deliver humanitarian aid inside Arakan, they are restricted. But there are other means, because 350,000 remaining. Why are they still surviving? If you think it is because of people like us who are trying to reach out to them. We know the channels, we know our problems, and we know how to solve them, and that's why they are still alive. The same thing in Bangladesh camps. There is a sanitation problem, there is a food aid problem, but still they're surviving. There is a medical assistance problem, but still they are getting, or at least we are trying to reach out to them and trying to help them. And we have successfully managed several cases. So we have the direct access, we know our problems in depth, and we are the ones who can come out with the best solutions. So coming back to the topic, why is it important to involve the affected people from conflict areas in project planning and evaluation? Because these are the people who face the problems 24 hours a day. They live the horrors 24 hours a day, and they have an insight to the problems, to the barriers they face, and they can give in-depth, active and thoughtful perspective and a solution to the people who are willing to help them. It is not when a president or a politician decides to help and lead a project, because the in-depth view of how we consider our problems is very much different from a politician or someone who is an academic. So it is very important for a humanitarian response to be effective, to be timely, and to be relevant, that they include the voices of the people who are really affected by the problem, who are facing it. So I request the donor community and also the ones who are leading the projects not to only plan the project themselves, but there should be a voice included from the affected community. I will share my experience with the Grand Challenge when I was invited in August this year, and I was very surprised. First of all, it was first time that any organization has done so. We Rohingya activists and medics are in contact with other community and other activists or organizations among ourselves, and we have never lived such a big experience, and I was very impressed, touched, that this already shows that people care about us, and they are trying to seek a proper solution and a durable solution. The experience in Toronto by Grand Challenge Canada was I was not the only person representing an affected community. It was a diverse one. We had people from Syria. There were also Syrian doctors. We had people from Sudan, from Somalia. So when we reviewed the projects, I found that everyone was able to put a very thoughtful insight in evaluating the project, whether this project, maybe the project is grand, it is bold, but it's not practical and it might not function in the field. So it might not give the benefit to the affected people. And through the multilateral feedback from the diverse community, which was invited, the best and practical innovations were selected or even voted for. And I believe that this will bring a big change. So it is very important that no matter how much funds you put into a project, no matter how much of research you have done, unless you don't involve the affected community, you don't hear the voice, and even if you involve them in a minor way, this will not function. They should be from the beginning of a project, in project planning, in every step, project evaluation, because it's not only that you are being inclusive, it's also empowering them. You are also trying to give them or build resilience in them. You're providing them a hope. For example, I, as a innovator, I have a grant project, and I go and build a sanitation system inside Bangladesh. And after the monsoon comes, and then it floods the sanitation system, and then nobody is caring because people are not involved. If you involve the people from the camps, they know that they are directly involved, and they will make sure that the sanitation system resumes its function. So it's very important to involve the community. And it's not only one person, one representative from the community, it should be a diverse one, because the needs are enormous, and the needs should be universal. It should address the needs of the special people in need, the pregnant women, the children, and the elderly, the disabled ones. So every angle, every important person from the society should be included. This is what I feel it is important. Secondly, humanitarian projects can only be successful if there is a political support, as if there is a support from the government, because in case, for example, for the Rohingyas, you can keep on pouring thousands of dollars. It is like a basket without the floor. You keep on pouring and pouring, and you don't know where the money is going, because unless the Rohingyas will not be, unless the government will not stop persecuting the Rohingya, people will continue to flee. Unless they don't get their citizenship rights back, they will be persecuted. There will be no access to medical care, to education, and these are the factors which will create a breeding ground for radicalization, for example, and people, when they are without hope, you lose the whole generation. So I'm very grateful to the Grand Challenge that I think this is one of the organizations which has really put an insight, and they really thought about the problem. And I think it is very, very important that the voices of the people affected are heard and not ignored. Thank you.